Kaba. I want to welcome you guys to another episode. This is JCJ, and today we're going to talk about Michael Jordan and his legacy. Does Michael Jordan really mean well with his recent $100 million donation to civic organizations and also for the Black Lives Matter campaign? That's something that we definitely have to think about, whether or not Michael Jordan is who he says he is. If you look at the future, you can see that Michael Jordan has not been the best friend, especially for poor people of color, Black people in particular, in America. Michael Jordan has been responsible for doing some of the best plays in basketball and being one of the best basketball players ever. No one can dispute his status and what he's accomplished on the basketball court at all. But if we look at him as a person, there's been many instances where you just can kind of question, what type of person is this? If you remember his comment, Republicans buy shoes too, that kind of gives you an inkling to who you're dealing with. And then you look at the recent recording where he actually said that he would prefer Isaiah Washington not to join the Dream Team. All of that is significant to Michael Jordan just as a person, and it's a way that you could actually look at someone's character and then kind of get a reflection of who they are. You know, I've donated to numerous organizations, Zion Institute, NAACP, even activists in the community such as Sonetta TV, Dr. Umar Johnson, Brother Polite. Down the line, I've definitely done my part, and I think it's something that most of us as Black Americans should do more of. However, what I want to question is the legitimacy of Michael Jordan wanting to do that, the Jordan brand actually wanting to do $100 million. Or is it that they're afraid of being called out? Or is it that they're doing it because it's becoming the trendy thing to do that other corporations are doing? Make no mistake about it. Michael Jordan is a businessman first and foremost. And that's really what he's all about at the end of the day. If you look at his track record, his 30-year track record, since the NBA and during his NBA seasons, you'll see that he's never really talked so much about social matters and so forth. He's never really been involved with things that's going on, all the shootings that's going on in Chicago right now as we speak. It becoming some of the deadliest shootings over Memorial Day that recently happened, becoming some of the deadliest shootings over Easter, and he does not speak up toward matters like that. I'm just using Michael Jordan as an example. But I question the legitimacy of all of these corporations' sudden interest in donating. And what I also want to ask is, what are they actually donating to? They talk about that they're going to donate towards stuff for equality, but what are they actually donating to? What we need more of is policies, process, and regulations. As someone that's worked for the state before, as someone that's worked for the federal government before, I understand how important it is to implement these type of laws, to get them into function, to make systematic change for Black people. And that's not what's going on when all of these corporations are saying that they're going to donate money. They're just going to donate money toward a cause. So for example, Mike Tyson said he's going to donate money to charity. Did he say how much he's going to donate to charity? Did he say what type of charities that he's going to donate to? Michael Jordan and the Jordan brand, in my opinion, and based on the track history and their record, are not to be trusted. And corporations like them that did not have a history of participating and donating in the past are not to be trusted. It seems like there's something, a veil or something like that that's going on, something very disturbing, why certain people are getting a level of consciousness. And we all know the recent death that happened, the recent events of police brutality, which have happened every single year. But there's a momentum right now. There's kind of like a revolutionary attitude that's going on, protests, march, and things of that nature. But to affect real change, there needs to be systematic change. And for that to happen, throwing money on a Band-Aid is not going to help it. There needs to be effective discussions, effective laws for reparations. That's a good start. You don't have to spend any of your money on different things that you don't even know that you're going to spend on it, Mr. Corporation. You could actually spend your money on lobbyists and influence certain politicians to really push, instead of just the study and the HR 40 study, to actually give towards certain things that promote change and systematic, that affect systematic racism and so forth, affect change that could actually make Black people more successful. A big part of that, some people talked about free college education. That's a start, but it's not the only thing, because right now, if you look at the statistics, most Black people do not graduate from college. Overall, both genders do not graduate from college, do not attend college, okay? And I'm talking about out of the 40 million that exist currently right now in America. So certain things that could be done are vocational training, set up businesses, entrepreneurial training, and grants for businesses regardless of credit. Okay, grants for businesses regardless of credit, setting up entrepreneurial classes, helping people to fix their credit, because once they have an 800 credit, they'll have a purchasing power of $100,000 anyways if they have an 800 credit score. So super important to kind of implement new things to make things happen. And you can do that by tossing your money toward effective change, certain programs that can create generational wealth. Also, knocking off student loan debt for all Black people who went to college beforehand and so forth is a good way to start as well too, and to create certain social programs where they can go train, get business loans, and also get certain housing funds and startup down payments at an easier rate than it is for other people, that's so they can become more successful, to build generational wealth. So basically grants for housing, free canceling the student loans, allowing folks to go to college for free. Those are easy ways of developing reparation plans without going into major debt, like everyone else that says they don't know what it feels like. They want to do it, but they're not sure if they can do it. Throwing money at something where you don't know where the money is going is not productive. And you see all of these organizations saying they'll give 100 million. They don't go into detail, like within how much time are you going to do the 100 million? What are you going to spend the 100 million on? So I would really urge everybody to kind of think of, Michael Jordan and other corporations just like him that have a history of really not supporting not only just their own, but Black people. Michael Jordan as a businessman and participating in capitalism, really, you don't have to do anything at the end of the day. You can do for self if that's what you really want to do. But don't come 30 years later and say that you're interested in effective change and you've been inspired when we really know it's a ploy, because you're kind of doing what's the trendy thing to do right now. You never did it beforehand. And I question the legitimacy of the Jordan brand and other corporations within the USA, things that's going on right now. Are people actually real? Are they pledging to actually do the right thing? Or do they want to be seen as they're doing the right thing? Image is very important right now in our time because of social media and other factors. Everyone wants to look good. Different governments wants to look good. They don't want to look too bad, like they're abusing their people. Different governments don't want to look a certain way. And it goes down to corporations as well too. They care about the way that they look. And so because it's the trendy thing to do right now, that's what they're doing. But I really would question where they're coming from. And I think it's something that we all need to do. Question where they're coming from. Is it sincere? Do they really mean what they say? You look at the Jordan Corporation for 30 years, what has it really done? It has never had an accountability for Black people. Republicans buy shoes too. Like Mike, wanna be like Mike. That's what they say, right? Never. But if you look at his actions dictates who a person really is. Actions dictates a lot of stuff. And if you look at the history of someone, you can kind of get an understanding of their actions and where they're coming from. And that applies to most things in life. So I would strongly urge people to take a look at the Jordan Corporation, see what they're doing. Let's talk about it, man. Like, there's so many other corporations, Uber, that recently took out that notice over the Black Lives Matter. What I really wonder is how did they kind of put that hashtag back out, the Black Lives Matter, and the origins of Black Lives Matter. It's all questionable if you do your research into how it even began and so forth. So what I question and what I wonder is, these protests and so forth and different things, how is it going to affect systematic change in the long run? And that's the game plan right now that we should be working with. Now that we have everyone energized, if we're going to do a crowdfunding, put it towards certain things that can create generational wealth and generational systematic change within the, because if we look at the wage gap right now, what's happening right now, especially even with the coronavirus and everything else, things are only going to get worse. They said by the year 2050 that most Black Americans were going to have zero net worth, majority, over 75%. And if that's the case, we need to start doing certain things to implement to get the ball rolling. And if we truly have a sense of excitement, clapping our hands at Jordan because he finally decided to step up because it's the trendy thing to do is not appropriate. We need to question these corporations. Where are they going to spend their money? How is it going to create effective change? That's something that we need to look into. I want to thank you guys for once again joining in on another episode. This is JCJ, and welcome to JCJ Ambition Enterprises. Peace.